TYT's got a new audio network, guys, and you're gonna love it. We got our existing shows, but on top of that, we've got a whole new slate of shows coming out that are in podcast form, including the Jimmy Dore Show. So now nobody does comedy like Jimmy. He is super aggressive and sometimes harsh and often irreverent, but he's gonna give it to you like he sees it. There's no question about that. So you're gonna love this podcast. He's gonna have some of the top comedians and comedy writers on there. So if you wanna check that out along with the entire audio network, go to tyt.com/audio.
Under Kansas Secretary of State Kris Kobach for several years, I believe about 6 years at this point, the state has been requiring you to provide proof of citizenship to be able to register to vote. That was constitutional, and thus, therefore, it was struck down by a federal judge just recently. U.S. District Judge Julie Robinson wrote that the state's requirement that voters show proof of citizenship during registration violated both the Constitution and the National Voter Registration Act. Robinson struck down the law and ordered that Secretary of State to take 6 additional hours of continuing legal education that pertain to federal or Kansas civil rules of procedure or evidence. We've talked about Kris Kobach before on the show. He was the head of the fraudulent voter fraud committee that Donald Trump set up to try to show that millions of people had voted illegally in the 2016 election. They couldn't do that and it was disbanded. And he's previously been found in contempt of court for continuing to do things that he has been told he cannot do to try to suppress the vote. And we've got that in this case as well. The Topeka Capital Journal reported Wednesday that staff for Kansas Secretary of State Kris Kobach has directed county clerks to continue requiring voters to present documentary proof of citizenship. So they set up this new thing. Court says, no, that's clearly unconstitutional, stop it. And he says, no, screw the courts, we don't live in a country of laws anymore. What are you gonna do? Even if you threw me in jail, I'd be pardoned the next day, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. And we have a comment from his spokeswoman. They said that state officials still need time to fully understand the court's ruling. I don't think that unconstitutional is that complicated of a term to understand. But she argued that the judge did not provide a clear timeline for when Kobach had to instruct county clerks to implement the policy. And I will let you determine if the timeline was clear in her next quote, which says, I think immediately is kind of open to interpretation.
That's awesome.
Is it really? At some point is open to interpretation. When you can get around to it is open to interpretation. Immediately is the exact opposite of open to interpretation.
So there's parts of the story that I love, parts of the story that I hate. So the parts that I love are obvious. What does immediately really mean? I'm going to interpret it as meaning after the elections, after I already robbed you of your chance to vote. Hey, I'm just trying to interpret the court, right? No, that's why the judge used the word immediately, because they didn't want you to play games like that. They didn't want you to wait till after the election, and they knew that if they said anything but immediately, that's what you would do. So the court said immediately, and you still said, yeah, I don't think so. So the second thing that I love is that Kobach was ordered to take continuing legal education. Like, you're obviously not getting it. I don't know if you're a lawyer or you understand the laws.
He's actually a Harvard graduate who earned his law degree at Yale and was a law clerk at the US Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit. He also taught constitutional law as a professor at the University of Missouri, Kansas City.
So the judge is actually being kind to him. So she's like, well, what you appear to be doing is ignoring court orders, which should put you in jail. So, but I'm gonna order continuing legal education because apparently Yale didn't do the job. Okay, this is my order. What you are doing is unconstitutional. You must follow my order because I am a judge. That's how our rule of law works. And so, of course, he knows what she's saying and he's choosing not to do it because they don't believe in the rule of law. And so that's the part that I can't stand. It's not just that the voters are being blocked actively, and they don't. If you said to me, so Republicans aren't doing it and you got a chance, you can fix the elections by making sure less Republicans vote by doing these kind of tricks. Oh, well, in the areas that are, name it, demographically more likely to vote Republican, I'm gonna require a birth certificate and a passport and a driver's license and 3 different cable bills. Well, that way you'll rob them of their chance to vote. Would I take that opportunity? No. The the ends do not justify the means. Their ends are terrible too. But the means is what we call democracy and voting. And they don't want people that they think are more likely to vote Democratic, a lot of times minorities, to vote. They don't want them to vote. So they block them in every way. That's why it's unconstitutional. But even more disturbing than that is him saying, I'm just not gonna follow the court order. What are you gonna do about it? He's running for governor. He's like, then I'm gonna become governor. I'm gonna continue to ignore what you're doing because I don't believe in our form of government with 3 different branches. I think that, like Trump, he probably thinks, well, I'm in the executive branch. I can do whatever the hell I want, and you can't check me. Well, you're not a king. The whole point of the court system is checks and balances to make sure that you are following the law. And as usual, another Republican lawbreaker, because they have no respect for our country or our system of government. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.